Joining me now is Andrew Dowling, a contemporary historian and the author of The Rise of Catalan Independence, Spain's Territorial Crisis. Sir, welcome to our program. I want to ask you about this election and the upcoming prospect of the new government. Prime Minister Sanchez will need to have a coalition government, it looks like. What are the more likely makeup of this new government? Because one would imagine that he wants a left-leaning government, correct?
Yeah, most of the indications over the electoral campaign is that he's prepared to establish a government with the left, but he'll also be under a lot of pressure from, if you want, traditional bastions of social democracy in Spain and people in the stock market and other, if you want, elitist groups to form an agreement with the Citizens Party, which is one of the rightist parties but tries to sort of position itself as a sort of liberal or centre-right party. But in a sense, the socialists are in a strong position because they're going to stay in power. Pedro Sanchez will continue to be prime minister, and they are in a position of being able to choose their partners, whether they want to swing to the left or swing to the right.
I want to borrow your expertise about the Catalan separatist movement. We know that in this election, the Basque's nationalist party, PNV, gained seat. They're about to have some 6% of the parliamentary seat. What does that mean for the Spanish society?
Well, I think the Catalan question has been probably the greatest crisis of Spanish democracy since Spain went from dictatorship to democracy in the late 1970s. If you exclude things like, you know, the violence of a Basque organisation, ETA, and other issues, this is really the Catalan crisis in the autumn of 2017. We're still seeing the effects of that, and there's been a lot of pressure around the Catalan question during the electoral campaign. And I think we've seen a number of things. Firstly, the right had a very hard line towards Catalan independence, and that produced a big vote in Catalonia and a big vote for, if you want, the more moderate independent voices. So it's kind of like a defeat for the hardliners in Catalonia and also a defeat in general terms for the hardliners in Spain. So it provides, if you want, an opportunity now to try to address this very serious Catalan question.
Also, sir, for the first time since military rule ended in Spain in the 70s, a far-right party, Vox, is set to enter parliament, grabbing seats. Explain to us the rise of this party.
Yeah, well, it's a relatively new party. It's only been around for 4 years, and essentially it was a fringe party until it suddenly exploded onto the scene 4 months ago in the regional elections in the region of Andalusia, and it attained 12% of the vote. Since then, it really has been at the centre of a lot of media attention because it is a very hard right party. It's got a strong angle against Catalan independence. It's got a strong angle against feminism. It's against immigration. And it is, I think it's very important, and as you mentioned in your report as well, to situate it as part of the emergence of these right-wing populist parties that are happening across Europe and in other countries in the world.
In his victory speech, Prime Minister Sanchez said the party's big challenges were to fight inequality and to stop corruption. What do you think are his biggest challenges going forward?
Well, I think the single biggest challenge faced by Spanish democracy today is the Catalan independence question. There's still very strong support in Catalonia for independence, almost half of the population. You've got the major leadership of the movement is currently on trial in Madrid. It's been on trial in Madrid for over 7 weeks with perhaps another 6 to 7 weeks to go. We can expect results from that trial probably in June or July, with the leadership potentially facing charges of up to 20, 25 years in jail. And I think until the Catalan question is seriously addressed, and Spanish democracy continues really to be on trial to resolve itself and find an adequate solution to this biggest question. So I think the Catalan question really is number one.
Andrew Dowling, thanks so much for being with us.